Pentart. I'm Shannon, your host today, and we are going to be talking about all things clear varnish in both matte and gloss. This product is solvent-based, and we're going to get into all that in just a minute. I just want to give everybody a second to settle in, and what I want you to think about is, do you have any questions about any of the Pentart products? Because we're going to tackle those at the end. So as I'm doing this live demo, I need you to start thinking about, do you have any questions on Pentart? Why should we be using one product as opposed to another product? Does this work with this? So let me hear all your questions, but save them to the end. And I'll go over all of them if you have any questions. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is we are going to talk, yes, the clear varnish. Now the clear varnish, it's solvent-based. It has a superpower. It has two superpowers. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. I'm going to do a live demo, and I'm going to show you what it does. This will be a rather quick live just because the product is pretty self-explanatory. Yes, it's solvent-based. Let me share my screen with you so that way I can, let me just pull this down. So here's this, that's the screen. Okay, so I have a few things in front of me. I'm going to zoom in because I want you to be able to actually see exactly what's going on. And I'm going to start with this one. So let me zoom in. Now, one thing, sorry, there's a glare. This is plastic. Let me see if I can get where, there's no glare. There we go. This is plastic right here, so I'm trying to not to get the glare on it. I just want to explain something. Like this one here, this is decoupage, but I did not use the decoupage medium over to seal it. If I were to go ahead and put the clear varnish on top of it, I could run the risk of smearing my colors. There is a reason why you need to seal. Let me show you. Let me get this. This is my go-to. This is my big one. It's a little bit beat up because I squeeze it into a little cup. But the reason why you should always use your decoupage medium to seal your paper, because you want to protect your paper. This is meant to go into the paper, soak into the paper, and it creates just a barrier for your paper. And then when you're done with your whole entire project, then you can come back and you can use the sealer. The solvent base could smear all of this, so putting your water-based decoupage medium on there is going to protect that. So let's put that aside. What else? It's quick to dry, and we're going to do this one next. This one's got a little bit of shine on it too because this is the fine line. So it's quick to dry. It comes in both matte and glossy. You definitely want to use a clean brush. And we're going to talk about the superpowers in just a second. The clear generally has like a little bit of white here, and that's clear up here. The matte, I mean, is the white is on the bottom, and then there's clear liquid up here. It comes with a little bead in there, metal bead, so that is in there to help you shake it up. You definitely want to make sure you give this a good shake. So listen, you can hear the little ball in there. That's getting that all mixed up. The gloss one does not require that. It's already good. You don't even need to stir it up. So one of the superpowers of the, I'm going to put myself on the screen. One of the superpowers, let's see, I'm trying to, this is such a big glare, the lights. Maybe if there we go. I'm just going to angle it up a little bit. One of the superpowers of the clear varnish is it will seal your fine line. Clear varnish is solvent-based. Now, sometimes, because the name is kind of vague, it just says clear varnish. Like on here, it doesn't even say solvent. Let me see. Where's my glasses? Oh, here they are. Let me see what it says on the very top. Oh, there it is. So in the very, very top, right here in the small print, it does say solvent based. But if you were just to pick it up, you wouldn't really notice it. So it took me a little while to understand that this is solvent based, because they also have, let me see, they are right. Do I have them right here? No, they're over there. They have the water based version, but their labels are colored. One's pink and one's blue. So it really kind of shows you the difference, and it does say on the front water based. So there is a huge difference. We're going to talk about water based in another week. This is clear varnish, the solvent based. We want to make sure that we distinguish that. All right. Because it's labeled clear varnish, it's kind of a generic name for it, clear varnish, but clear varnish, it is exactly what it says. So generally over the fine line, I prefer the gloss, purely because the fine line already is supposed to look porcelain-like, and porcelain to me always has a little bit of a shine. And I'm going to use, this one's not open yet, so I'm going to use my open one. And let me show you the fine line. So we're going to bring it up to the camera. So if you look very carefully, and especially when I get the right angle, you can, there we go. You can see the little fine lines. And I already put some metal pigment in there, the sparkling silver, so that is good to go. Now what I do want to say is that once you, I just want to do this. Once you have your fine line dry, you might think it's totally dry and that you can go ahead and put your sealer on. Now this is a mistake that a lot of people are making, and it might not be well known out there, but you have to let your fine line cure. It has to cure. And that doesn't mean dry to the touch. It means it has to cure minimally 24 hours. So let your fine line cure. Let it sit for at least a day. Even a week is fine. You don't have to seal it right away. If you seal it right away, you run the risk of it peeling, coming apart. How many of you out there have ever had a problem with the fine line crackle coming apart? Generally, it's because it might feel dry, but it's not. And it's still curing. And if there's any moisture whatsoever in there, it could peel up. Okay. So once you've let it sit for minimally 24 hours, this one has been sitting for about 48. You're just going to come in here and you're just going to put a nice coat of the clear on here. Then once it's dry, your project is good to go. The clear varnish, the solvent varnish, will stop. It's going to actually stop the fine line from crackling more. And then you are left with just a gorgeous project that you don't have to worry about it peeling up. So make sure your fine line is cured before you put your clear varnish on, your solvent-based varnish. So that's project number one. That's the superpower of the clear varnish. Very important. It is required for the fine line. So let's put this over here so we can still see it. It's such a pretty, pretty piece. Now what I do want to show you here, now look at this. You guys may recognize it, you may not. This is a paint inlay by IOD, and with the new IOD release coming out today, and if you're into the paint inlays, you really need to know this. I stumbled upon it a few years ago by accident, because there's always been some problems with the sealing of a paint inlay. Like if you brush on water-based, you're just going to smear it. So IOD was recommending that you roll it on, which that works too, but that's for water-based. If you go ahead and you take your solvent base, let me show you. Take your solvent base and you brush it right on. This is just a paint inlay. There's no sealer, nothing on there. Let me just show you. If I take a baby wipe and I kind of start, let me go over here. Look, I'm smearing it just from a baby wipe because it reactivates with the water. I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. So No water base on here. But if you use the clear varnish in Sullivan, right? I'm gonna put this over here so you can see it. Absolutely no smearing. Isn't that just incredible? So if you're a paint inlay person, or if you were too scared to try it, use the solvent-based clear varnish, and you will not have any problems with your paint inlay. This is very important. So I'm going to do this side with the gloss, and then I'm going to seal the other side with the matte. That way, you can see a difference. Now, I do want to say that it is very strong. Make sure you're in a well-ventilated area. I'm going to mix it up again. Mix this one up. Well-ventilated area, because it is strong and powerful. It has a very heavy smell. Let me grab another clean brush here. Now this one is the matte version. You notice that the gloss was clear, but the matte is white. We're going to brush it on. It will dry clear. So depending on what you want your paint inlay to look like, if you want it to be matte or if you want it to be glossy. The most important thing though, regardless if you choose matte or gloss, is that it doesn't run and that it doesn't smear. You don't want your paint inlay. You spent all this money, you put all this work into it, you don't want it to smear. So look at that. No smearing. So let's try this real quick. And then I'm going to show you how to clean your brushes, because there is something special that you need to do to clean your brushes. But it's super easy. Okay, we don't have time for that. We're not going to blow dry that. We're just going to let it dry on its own, and I'll post a picture of what the difference is. Maybe it'll be dry by the end of our segment of Q&A. So now I have two brushes. They stink. They're solvent-based, and I cannot just go put them under the water with soap and water. I need special cleaner, and Pentart has one. Look, they have something called the Solvent. It's turpentine-based, and it's a cleaner. It comes in a little jar, which is perfect for cleanup. Let me show you. These are mine. Definitely, you can tell that they are well-loved and well-used. This is a new one that I have on hand for when I need it, and to show you all. All you do is open it, and this too does have a stinky smell. But you can see like there's junk and gunk in there. That's just because that's all have been coming off of my brush. And this one has a little bit more. This one's almost empty. This one's still pretty full. But all you need to do is you take your brush, and I'm gonna sit it in here. I'm gonna grab my paper towel real quick. You stick it in. It is amazing how fast this works. So you just stick it in, and you just push it down lightly. I generally do it over the sink, just in case I splash. I'm a pretty messy crafter, so I know myself. So that's why I do it over the sink. But for this demo purposes, I'm doing it here. So you just swish it around in there for a second. Take a rag, a paper towel, dry it off. Now your brush is clean and it's soft and as good as new. Now we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use my one that has all the junk and gunk in it just to show you that it does last a long time. This one though is also very stinky, so make sure you do it well ventilated area. You stick it in there and you rub it with your paper towel. Hey Lisa. And then look, brush is good as new and it feels soft. And when it's 100% dry, it'll be nice, soft, and ready to go. But so that is how you clean your brushes after using the clear varnish. Can't be any simpler. I will link it in the comments below. All right. So just to recap, The superpower of the varnish is you can, I'm zooming the wrong way. There we go. Oh, it's too much. We, wish there was an easier way for me to zoom. There we go. So you can seal your paint inlay. No smear, no smudge. Look at that, how beautiful that is. And I already showed you what happens if you take a little baby wipe or some water. It will smear, but not with the solvent-based clear varnish. So paint inlay, this works like a dream. Then, let me just prop that up a little bit. We put it over our Fineline Crackle. This is mandatory for your Fineline Crackle to stop. You cannot, no water-based. You have to use solvent on Fineline Crackle. And again, you need to wait. Thank you, Lisa. You need to wait at least minimally 24 hours for your fine line to cure, not dry, cure, before you put the clear varnish on, and then you won't have any lifting or anything. All right, so let's come back to me. So this is the part where I'm going to take some questions. Does anybody have any questions on any of the Pentart product or what you saw today with the clear varnish? Anybody? I know most people are way excited about the IOD release today. You guys are going to love it. But I just want you to know that all the Pentart products, they work hand in hand with the IOD products, all of them. Whether you're prepping your resin mold, so it can take paint, whether you're casting a clear mold and you put some clear varnish on it, it'll make the mold not be cloudy. Ooh, that would have been a good demo too. I'll have to do that in a little reel. Let's see, the heavy body gel is perfect for putting your resin mold on whatever. Sometimes when you're doing your resin mold, it's not quite flat, or if you're using IOD clay, it might not be flat. So the heavy body gel kind of fills in the gap and sticks it on, and that once that's glued on, that heavy body gel, it is not coming off. Trust me. What else? There's acrylic paints that you can use. There's just so much. The Pentart and IOD just go hand in hand. So after you get all of your stuff, all of the new release with the IOD, head on over to pentartusa.com and get all of your Pentart supplies that you need to go with the IOD release. All right. Well, I don't see any questions. So if you have any questions, anytime, comment on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. We are here to help you understand what the Pentart products do, how to use them, and how it can help your project. So, all right. I only see Lisa. I don't know if it's just because she's on. Oh wait, here's one over here. I got a couple. Hey Gert, the comments are not coming through on YouTube on the iPads, but they're on here my computer. Do they come in different sizes? Yes, they do come in different sizes. They come in, I know there's a 50 and there is 100. So, and they're all on the Pentart USA website. What they really need is a big one because the varnish it's just, it's such a great arsenal in your toolbox for crafting. And, let's see, any other questions? 50 and 100 milliliters. Yep. Hi, Sue. Yeah. We need a big one though, because when you're tackling like a big paint inlay, you're probably gonna need a little bit more. What else? Any other Pentart related questions? Remember, get all the Pentart because it goes hand in hand with the IOD with that new release that's coming out. And like I said, we just demoed, it goes beautifully with the fine line, but make sure you let your fine line cure for 24 hours to avoid lifting. Very important. It's been overlooked for a long time, but that's huge, and that's why a lot of people have problems. If you have something that your fine line's not sticking or it's coming up after 2 weeks, it's because you have moisture in there. So let your fine line cure minimally 24 hours. Okay, anything else? Hi Sue, welcome. Well, all right, any other questions? Anyway, you know how to reach me. You know how to reach Pentart. Questions, throw them out there. We will get them answered, because probably if you have that question, somebody else has the same question. So let's just help everybody get the information that you need, because these Pentart products are amazing. I fell in love when I was introduced to them about 3 years ago, whenever it was. I just can't get enough. All right, guys. Well, take care. Have a great day, and hope you get everything you need for the IOD release. I know it's exciting. You need wax. What kind of wax, Lisa? We have wax paste. We have antique paste. Are you talking wax? That comment just came through. I know I was signing off, but oh, wait a second and see if you. I know there's a little bit of a delay. All right. Well, you really think bigger size? I'm working some crates. Yes, Gert. I agree. Bigger sizes needed. We're asking for bigger sizes. Pentart was designed for small crafty projects, kind of like this. And you really don't need that much when you're doing this. But a lot of us, like I put fine line on furniture, and I need big. All right. Well, Lisa, there we go. For crackle or more. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's antique paste, and I have one right here. Well, I had one right here. Yeah, they're called antique paste, and you can, the umber and the gold is the most popular. They're put in the fine line cracks, but still, after you put that in, you're still going to need to seal your fine line with the solvent base clear coat. Okay. All right, guys. Take care. Any questions? You know where to put them.